This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the HTC Touch Pro2 for T-Mobile. T-Mobile in the United States is the first carrier to get a hold of the Touch Pro2. We did a review of the unlocked version of this phone a couple of months ago, and it's largely unchanged, which is a good thing because we really like what HTC did with the Touch Pro2. So you can see here it has a very large touchscreen display. It's 3.6 inches, 800 by 480 resolution. The Touch Pro2 is the fact that it's fairly large. You can tell I have big hands, and it's filling up my hand, and it's heavy at 6.6 ounces. But that allows for the very large display, so we'd say it's a very worthwhile trade-off. The other thing that it allows for is this absolutely huge and wonderful offset keyboard. You notice the keys are offset just like a desktop keyboard, which makes for a much more natural typing motion. And this is probably the best keyboard that we've ever used on a mobile phone of any kind. And T-Mobile really hasn't changed the Touch Pro layout very much. So we've got the dedicated number row up top. You'll hit the Alt key to get symbols. And everything else is pretty much where you would expect it to be on a keyboard. The only thing missing is the Tab key. See, the phone is pretty thick since it's a slider. You've got volume buttons here and your micro SD card slot. You do not have to take off the back of the phone to access the card, which is great. Build quality is excellent. It looks like a nice, expensive phone. You've got your power button up here. Stylus over here, which does wake up the display when you take it out. Reset hole, mic hole. The HTC proprietary USB ports down here, and that also works as the headphone jack. This does not have a 3.5mm headphone jack, but there is an adapter in the box, so you can use one. Take a look at the back. We've already looked at the speaker grill surrounding here, camera lens, and this is your speakerphone activation button. The whole back slides off. Take a look at that to access the battery and the SIM card. Large 1500 milliamp battery over here, and the SIM card is underneath the battery. Back is easy to get on and off. The keyboard has a tilting mechanism, so you can use this like a mini laptop, and you can use it flat if you like. But obviously on the desk, the ergonomics of using it like this are just wonderful, and it's fairly stable on the desk. It doesn't have an uneven back, so it doesn't wobble around too much. Let's take a look at this compared to some other phones, give you an idea of the size difference. Here it is next to the iPhone 3GS. See, the iPhone is obviously a lot thinner. It doesn't have the sliding mechanism and the keyboard, so it can be thinner. Now we'll look at the My Touch 3G on T-Mobile, the Android phone, which is a lot smaller. This just uses an on-screen keyboard. Unlike the G1, there is no hardware keyboard. So again, that allows it to be smaller. And if you turn off the My Faves display, you can see the default TouchFlow 3D home screen that you may be used to at this point, which has the time. If you had any appointments, it would show them here. And you've got your Internet tab here. Again, this is similar to other TouchFlow 3D devices. There's a couple of favorites pre-installed here: YouTube, CNN, ESPN, and Facebook. The strange thing here is that Internet Explorer Mobile 6 is the default browser rather than Opera. Now, Opera Mobile 9.5 is on board. It's just not what you're going to launch if you, say, tap onto any of the links that you store here or launch the web browser from that tab. IE6 Mobile is much improved over older versions of IE in terms of very good desktop rendering, a better layout, you have better CSS support, more advanced JavaScript. The only drawback is it's surprisingly slower than Opera, and Opera is not the fastest of web browsers. The device has an accelerometer. As you can see, it works in some applications and not others. It doesn't work in IE Mobile. You have to actually deploy the keyboard if you want to see this page in landscape mode. The default is very large fonts for the blind whenever you're visiting mobile optimized sites, which we're looking at right now. We'll take a look at our website. So you can just drag through anything you want here using your finger. Occasional targets are a little small, still, such as your favorites listing. And we're doing this over T-Mobile's 3G network. The phone supports T-Mobile's 3G network, and it's quad-band GSM with Edge. T-Mobile's 3G network is very fast in our area, but as you can see here, IE6 is just not the fastest to load web pages. Once it does load, it looks great, and you can use your finger to scroll and drag the page around. The layout is very true to the desktop. There's a zoom bar over here, which was also on the unlocked Touch Pro2. We expect it'll be on all the Touch Pro2 variants. That does not work in IE Mobile 6. It does work in Opera, and it does work in Office Mobile. Let's take a look at Opera now in comparison. Here it is loading T-Mobile's front page, which is pretty heavy on graphics. Opera defaults to full screen mode, and you can drag around with your finger, scroll. Since this is 800 pixels wide, there really is no need to scroll side by side here, and we'll try out the zoom bar. Zoom bar takes a very heavy touch. You really have to press down to use it. And it works fairly smoothly in Opera. It's a little bit jerky, and in Office Mobile you really have to kind of keep stroking at it to get it to zoom. If you want to get to the menus, here's the full menus here. You've got back, favorites, support for multiple windows, you can switch through them, and then a full set of settings here. And you can actually exit the application, which is not so common in Windows mobile applications. The phone has a GPS with Telenav pre-installed. You can also use Google Maps, that's also pre-installed on the phone. For free navigation, Telenav costs $10 a month, but it does provide excellent turn-by-turn spoken directions. This gets a fix very quickly, it holds on to it. Turn-by-turn directions are fairly audible. This has a large speakerphone. One of the big selling points of the phone is this speakerphone right here. Actually, the little drivers or speakers underneath aren't that huge, but this makes it look very impressive. This was not as loud as some other phones, though, in the car for spoken directions, which was surprising, given the speakerphone on this device. And also, if you are in a call, if you place the phone face down and press this button right here, it'll switch to speakerphone automatically. Unlike first-generation Touch Pro2 devices, when you're in the home screen, you do have access to all tabs. It may not be immediately apparent, but you just touch this little tab symbol right here, and then you can scroll through all of your tabs. I have a couple of new home screen items here. We've got stocks. You can add your own stocks to this. And we've got the usual HTC weather, which is just beautiful to look at and supports several cities. Scroll through your cities. Just do like so. Got the photo viewer here, right on the home screen tab. You can flick through your pictures like that. And you can launch the camera and the video camcorder. This has a 3.2 megapixel autofocus camera that takes okay pictures, and it can shoot video with audio as well. In addition to T-Mobile 3G, the phone has Wi-Fi. It does not support UMA calling. So far, we haven't seen that on a Windows Mobile professional device. And it has Bluetooth 2.1 plus EDR with a full set of profiles, including headset, hands-free, serial port, done, and Bluetooth stereo A2DP. So that's the Touch Pro 2 for T-Mobile. Visit Mobile Tech Review to read our full review.